Well, I'll tell you what, our first meet of the year was at Christopher Newport University, which is in Newport News, Virginia. This meet traditionally is always at the same time of the year. It's always the first weekend in December, and we have gone to this meet at least twice, if not three times. And one of the reasons we like to start out by going to this meet is before finals. It's a good, meet to find out where the kids are, to kind of figure out how much work they need to do, what they need to do over the Christmas break, kind of to get the rust off of the people, and to also kind of see how how much work we've got done over the fall. These kids work really hard over the fall, and we like to see kind of where they're at and what they need to work on over the Christmas break. So a lot of the kids are obviously nervous for that first meet. A lot of the freshmen we bring in don't know what to expect, and as well as the upperclassmen, they kind of like to get out and kind of see where they left off from last year. So you always have goods, you always have bads. One thing about our sport, you're always going to have ups and downs. There's so many events. We've got two genders, but I'm kind of one of those guys. We always like to be more on the positive side than on the negative side. Well, we just got back from Christopher Newport University. We had our first meet over the weekend. It was a one-day meet. It was on Sunday. We don't normally compete on Sundays, but Christopher Newport University had a men's basketball game on Saturday, and that's why the meet got moved to Sunday. But I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited. It's kind of like Christmas. Well, it is Christmas, but you want to go to that first meet, and you want to see how your new freshmen do. You want to see how the upperclassmen, how they left off from last year. But I tell you what, obviously one of the highlights right off the bat was Tynita Butts. She was Miss Everything last year, as people know. She was Conference USA Indoor Athlete of the Year. She was Conference USA Outdoor Athlete of the Year. She was an All-American outdoors in the high jump. She qualified for 2 events outdoor nationally. She qualified for 1 event indoor nationally. The list goes on, and I knew that when we recruited this lady that there were going to be some great things that were going to come out of her. So this past weekend she jumped 1.87 meters, which is 6'1" inch, and that is a very good jump. She automatically qualified for the NCAA Indoor National Championships, which are going to be held at College Station, Texas, at Texas A&M later on in March. But we couldn't be more proud of her. I could go on and on, but we don't have enough time in the day. She also won the long jump up there. But I tell you what, the sky is the limit with her, and she's going to continue to get better and better. Some other things that happened out of that meet on the women's side, we got a great new group of freshmen that came in this year. Tyshonda Hawkins from Goose Creek High School in Charleston, South Carolina, won the ladies 200 and ran 25:02, which is a great time. She also made the finals of the 60 and ran a great 60 time. She ran a great 4x4 split. So we expect huge things out of her. Speaking of school records, Tynita obviously broke the school record in the high jump. Brittany Cott broke the school record in the 600, which she owned from last year, and also ran a nice split in the ladies 4x4. So we're excited about her getting off to a great start. The throws group, and we'll get into more of that later, but the throws group is always a mainstay of what we do here at East Carolina. Megan Lewis threw a great weight throw at the meet, and she didn't throw in this event last year because her back was always hurting her, but she threw 16-meter, I think 36. Kim Kanala ended up doing very well. She almost equaled her PR. So there was just a lot of great things that happened throughout the day on the ladies' side, and to sit here and try to pinpoint every one of them would be almost impossible. But I just think if the women continue to do what they are capable of doing, what we expect them to do, I think we're going to have a fine season with this women's group. On the men's side of things, this past weekend at Christopher Newport University, we brought in a nice group of men this year, and I'll get into that later. But some of the highlights on the men's side that we can hang our hat on was Dennis Aliata, as you guys know. He was the indoor conference champion last year in the shot. He was the outdoor conference champion on the shot. Had a great year last year, qualified for regionals. Well, he just, started off where he left off last year. He ended up winning the shot put this past weekend at CNU. He's also our indoor school record holder and outdoor school record holder in the shot put. He did very well. Two of the other guys that did well in that weight were Daniel Varela and also Montreal Morrow. So we had a good day there. We also did very well in the men's hurdles. Mario Briscoe is one of our seniors on the team, and he ran an 8:08, which is a very good time on the high hurdles, and ended up also running the open 4 and ran a 4x4 leg. So all in all, on the men's side, I think it was a good day too. We've got a lot of work to do. Austin Lewis did a pretty good job in the long jump and did a nice job in the 60. Again, I could go on and on about pinpointing people, but I think all in all, I think the men found out that we probably need to be in a little bit better shape. We also found out that over this Christmas break and over these holidays, they're going to have to go to work because we come back and we have a meet at Virginia Tech right off the bat. So I think all in all, I think the men did a nice job as well. I tell you what, Charles, time really flies. We are constantly always looking to next year. It seems like as a coach, we're always, recruiting toward next year. We're always building for next year, and then all of a sudden next year comes, and here we are now, and it's already next year. So, to preview the indoor season, that indoor season goes by fast. It's a short season. We take it very serious, but obviously the outdoor is kind of where we point to. But indoors, we do a small schedule. We go to Virginia Tech, we go to Chapel Hill, we go to Penn State, and then that conference is right on us in a hurry. So, it's the same thing every year, and it isn't coaches speak. It's really what I believe. My philosophy, our coaching staff philosophy, is we want to move up in the conference. That's very important to me. We're a conference team first, and anything after that, we want kids to qualify for nationals. We want kids to be All-Americans, but we want to win conference. We always want national qualifiers. We're always trying to set school records. We're trying to build a team, and with our philosophy, we're trying to be good in all of the events. There's 21 events in track and field. We're trying to be good in all the events. We brought a great recruiting class in, which I want to talk about in a minute. But I think that the bottom line is the one thing that we're going to stay focused on, and that is trying to win a Conference USA championship. And I always preach to the kids and to the coaches that we're constantly trying to move up. We're trying to improve. And if we can get better and improve on what we did last year, then guess what? That's all I ask. Well, Charles, as anybody knows, in the athletic world that we live in, that the recruiting is probably the most important thing that we do on a day-to-day basis and on a year-to-year basis, is that if you're doing a good job of recruiting, hopefully it shows in the results. But so speaking of recruiting, on the men's side this year, we didn't bring in quite as many men this year as we did last year. Last year was a heavy recruiting year on the men's side. We brought in a wonderful group of men last year. On the men this year, it was the list was a little bit shorter, but just a few examples. Henry Johnson is from Selma, out in Smithfield, a local North Carolina kid. He was the state champion last year in the pole vault. We expect him to make a major impact on this team this year. We also had a transfer kid from Hampton University by the name of Lawrence Campbell that's going to impact our 800 and our 4x4 and those things. We also brought a kid in this year from Poland by the name of Jacob Trelaski. He's an 800, 4x4, 1500 meter guy. So on the men's side, it's a smaller group, but we feel like that this group is going to add to what we brought in last year, and to also add to what's already here, to the Mario Briscoes, to the Isaiah Gayassis, to that group. So look for good things out of the men, as we always do when we want to move up in the league. And on the women's side, we brought in what we thought is a great recruiting class on the women's side. We brought in local kids. We brought in kids from Virginia. North Carolina is also always #1 for us, and that goes without saying. But, people that we brought in the women's side, we brought in a gal by the name of Tania Meekins, which is in the Tidewater area. We brought in a girl by the name of Tyshonda Hawkins from Goose Creek, from Charleston, South Carolina. In the state here, we brought in a girl by the name of Erin Tucker, that's out of Charlotte, that's a hurdler. Aisha Goggins is a girl here in state that's a great recruit in the 400. We had a girl from New Jersey, a discus thrower by the name of Chloe Early. So, on the ladies' side, we've brought in a nice group, and we hope that that group already adds, to what again we brought in last year. And as always, with freshmen, you never know what you're going to get. The expectations are always high, but we have to remember that they are freshmen. So we're just going to get out there. We're going to work hard, and we're going to keep our focus, keep our heads high, and see where we finish at the end of the year.